Well, buddy, you're wasting valuable airtime.
Okay, here we are.
Episode 8. Jason.
Dan. Oh, I'm looking at the monitor.
You're looking at Jason Meer here.
Dan Sheer.
Here.
And this is the SheerMeer. We're going to talk about
Go ahead.
your favorite movie.
I was just thinking, like, what's a perfect movie? Like, are there any perfect movies? My idea of a perfect movie is Midnight in Paris.
I love that.
Directed by Woody. What's his name? Woody. I'm blanking on his name suddenly.
His name is Woody Allen.
Woody Allen. Unfortunately, he's tainted, isn't he? Or stained. But this movie, I think, is a really great movie.
It is good. That's with Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson, Rachel McAdams.
Is that the one where he goes back in time?
This is why I wanted to mention this movie, because I don't think too many people have seen it. I think it's such a great, funny movie. Every scene in that movie progresses the story. The writing is funny, the acting, the casting, everything's on point. The idea originated just because he wanted to do something in Paris and actually shine a light on Paris as a city. That was I think the origin of his movie, and then somehow that story kind of evolved from that. But
A love letter
to Paris as a city.
What is it about that movie that you like so much?
Well, what I love about it is that it's fanciful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily like history movies because they're not fanciful. I love movies that are more, they just take you on a journey, an unexpected journey, which this one does. I just love the whole setup of this character. He's a writer in Hollywood. He's not feeling fulfilled about it.
Mm-hmm.
His real love or desire is to be in Paris, France, and in a different time, especially would be like his, he wanted to be in the golden era where people went into the cafes, and somehow he ends up finding a portal into that ideal time that he envisions, and he meets all these characters that we all know, like Hemingway and T.S. Eliot, all these writing heroes that we all admire. He actually interacts with them in this portal, which sends him back in time.
Yeah.
And then I think the way Owen Wilson plays it with just this flabbergasted, unbelievable, he's so excited about what he can't believe he wants to pinch himself. And on top of that, he meets this beautiful woman in this era that is also, pulling him back into this, like he wants to know more about this woman.
Is it assumed that it really did happen, or is it just part of his imagination?
No, it does seem to really happen, but he's as flabbergasted or confused about it as you and I would be. So there's a part of him that doesn't believe it, but it's so real that he wants to just keep going back. So the woman that he keeps revisiting in this, that kind of falling in love with, because his wife is, they're having marital problems, right?
Who's his wife in this movie?
That was Rachel McAdams.
Oh, it is? Okay.
And she's very he's the opposite of what his real heart is, right? So, but that's another problem presents itself, which is he ends up finally confiding in the woman that he has fallen for in this other time, and explaining that he's in this portal and he doesn't know, it's inexplicable, and somehow they managed to go to another time that she considers the best.
That's right. An earlier time.
Right. So
that's
I
right.
love that.
He goes back to one time, and then which he loves, and then that's right. She goes back, takes him to a previous time that she loves, and she doesn't want to leave that time.
Right. So she's in the same scenario, and now he's really fallen for her. He wants to be with her, but
she doesn't want to leave.
No, because
she wants to stay in the earlier time.
What he felt like she's in this perfect place, and
it actually touches on even how we might feel even today. A lot of people might say, "Oh man, today's time is just so. I want to go back to a simpler time.
Yeah, grass is greener.
I want to go back to this time. I want to go." When really, in that time, maybe it really wasn't the way we imagined it to be.
Yeah, like he makes the argument with her. It's like, you really want to live here? They didn't have medicine, and you couldn't take pills, and she's like, screw it. None of that matters. What matters is the life that.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So that was an awesome twist in the story.
I think that sometimes.
Right. We all do.
I just want to go back to a simpler time.
Before these guys
like the 1980s.
Yeah.
Right. Before these.
This is what ruined it.
Right. This and social media and the internet and.
So maybe that would be
Not YouTube though. YouTube's great. So continue watching this show.
I think we should do a version of this story with that conceit.
There was a moment where the car drives up.
Right.
He gets
in. There's a whole.
Does no one witness the car kind of disappearing?
Well, when it
Appearing?
first happens, they came out of a dance party. People were drinking, but he wasn't drunk. He just wanted to walk the streets of Paris and, you know, take in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
He got lost. He sat on the steps, and then the midnight strikes.
Yeah.
This old car pulls up. That ends up being his portal.
That's right. And someone went looking for him, though, right? So there was somebody who started following him before he goes into that car.
Yeah, because his real wife's father gets a little
That's what it was.
suspicious of his behavior. So
That's
they
what
put
it
us.
That's right.
And he ends up also getting lost in time, right? That guy.
Does he get into that
So he
same
doesn't
car?
get in the car, but he manages to find the portal eventually, which takes him to another time and place, and now he's in a predicament. So one of the great things is like his romantic idea of being in Paris in that time was to be a novelist. He didn't want to be a screenwriter as he was in Hollywood. He wanted to be a real novelist.
Yeah.
And he gets the opportunity to present his manuscript to Gertrude Stein, who that's another fun part of this thing where she's giving him feedback. And then he talks about it in the story that he's writing as a novel. His character in that book is a nostalgia shop owner or something like that. So that also kind of plays into this. Like his character in his book also wants to be in a different time.
Another question I have regarding that is, how does that solve the relationship he had with his wife or has with his wife? Does it mend itself after he comes back? I don't remember.
No, that's the funny thing is in his manuscript that he's presenting to Gertrude Stein, and she says, doesn't this character realize that his wife is cheating on him? And that's when it hit him that his wife is actually cheating on him.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
They're in Paris and she runs into an old friend of hers that she admires, and he keeps taking her out on dates.
Isn't there a moment where he's on a bridge with the woman he meets in his time?
There's another woman that he keeps bumping into in the streets who also is selling vintage things.
Right. Does he eventually start?
Well, that's kind of a cute thing because they kind of
allude to that?
interact, and they both have this fascination with nostalgia, right? And so in the end of the movie, which I don't know if I should give that part away, but
everybody's seen this.
No, I don't think enough people.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I want to hear the ending. Please tell me.
So in the end, after the woman, his wife has been cheating on him. You bet. I'm not. The ending is satisfying. Let's put it that way.
Oh, he was actually going to tell you guys the ending. That's so not cool.
I think there's only one little gripe I have with the movie, which is the intro, which is quite long, of just shots of Paris.
You don't like the idea that they're establishing the
It's a
scene,
lot of establishing
the tone.
shots. Now I appreciate it. It's just long because it takes a while to get into the story. Now I realize the reason he did that is because really his story was about Paris. So that's my idea of a perfect movie. Perfect because it's got the perfect casting, great writing, great plot twists, great atmosphere, environment, direction.
Well, great cinematography as well.
Yeah, so
the color, the tone,
the music as well.
The music.
Yeah, there's really nothing to fault. I know a lot of people don't like Owen Wilson, but I think he plays his character quite well.
Who out there does not like Owen Wilson?
Put it in the comments. So
I can't top that. I'm so sorry. I don't have a perfect movie that can top that because that's a great movie. A movie that I like, I can watch it repeatedly and never get tired of it. It's not a cinematic masterpiece by any means, but it's called Beverly Hills Cop. Okay.
You said that earlier. I was surprised.
Yes. It's funny. It's over the top, some of it.
We did watch it maybe a month or two ago. Just
Beverly Hills Cop?
Yeah, I think it was on something streaming. I don't know if it's one of those movies for me that I would watch every time it's on. If I just happens. I like Beverly Hills Cop. I just don't.
No, you don't. You don't like the movie. You don't.
I think I have certain movies I just put in the 1980s box in my head.
Yeah.
And that's one of the movies.
That's one of the movies you're like, yeah.
I would love to hear their point of view on Beverly Hills Cop.
I'd like to hear their point of view on both movies, Beverly Hills Cop and Midnight in Paris.
Yes. Those are two very different. Well, they're both comedies, so.
If you had your choice between Beverly Hills Cop and Midnight in Paris.
No question. Speaking of perfect movies, we just both happened to watch Nightmare Before Christmas last night.
Whew, that's a great one.
It's firing on all cylinders. You got the design, the writing, the acting, everything's just working. The music, yeah. Danny Elfman, I didn't realize, I guess I should have known this, but he was the voice of Jack Skellington. That's why it was so...
Was he the voice, though, the entire time?
Oh, you're right. No, you're right.
I don't think he was.
Only the singing voice. Huh?
Yes.
So, I think we covered today.
Yeah, we did good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.